Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Friday Discovery sessions. I want to thank everyone for joining us today and for coming back for another one of our really awesome, interesting, engaging discovery sessions. I think we really appreciate that this audience keeps coming back, that folks keep wanting to spend their Friday afternoons with us. We definitely really appreciate that we have an energy efficiency community that is excited to get together and learn about all of these exciting new initiatives that are happening. So just so everyone knows who I am, my name's Kirstin. I'm the Community Engagement Manager here at Efficiency Canada. I'm joining our call today from Ottawa, Ontario, which is the unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. The way our discovery sessions work is we have 45 minutes together today. Our presenter is going to speak for 20 to 25 minutes, and then we're going to share some time for Q&A. So at any point in the presentation, you can pop your questions into the Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen. If you see a question that you'd really like to have answered, you can vote it up, and those questions will go to the top of the list and get answered first. And at the end of our call today, we're going to hop into our Discovery Hub for an after-party campfire. So if you want to get introduced, come and hang out, ask any more questions, then we'd love to have you join us there. This week's speaker is Jodie Hahn, who is Iron and Earth's Innovation and STEM Manager. She's going to be talking to us about their new Climate Career Portal, which I'm really excited to hear more about. And so with that, Jodie, I will pass it over to you.
Thanks, Kirstin. So hi, everyone. My name is Jodie Hahn. As she mentioned, I am the Innovation and STEM Manager for Iron and Earth. A little bit about me, I am an engineer by background, and I started my career working for Shell in the oil and gas sector, and then I shifted into the low carbon district energy sector for a company called Creative Energy based in Vancouver. Some of you may know it, and I worked closely with a lot of energy efficiency folks there. And now I work for Iron and Earth. So who is Iron and Earth? Iron and Earth was created in 2016 by workers seated around the lunchroom tables of the Canadian oil sands. These were workers who realized that their trade skills were transferable to the renewable energy industry and also recognized the urgency of diversifying into these technologies for Canada's energy future. So Iron and Earth is a worker-led nonprofit organization with a mission to empower fossil fuel industry and Indigenous workers to build and implement climate solutions. And we do this through a multitude of initiatives, including our regional chapters, our national advocacy campaigns, our upskilling programs, climate mitigation projects, community building events, and technology platforms. So our newest technology platform was launched 1 month ago on March 22nd of this year, and it's called the Climate Career Portal. The Climate Career Portal was born after we surveyed the current tools available for workers in Canada and identified some major gaps. So the first obvious one being is that there's a lack of centralized information about climate careers in Canada, and even less information on how someone working in fossil fuels can navigate away from that and into climate solutions. There was also a lack of platforms made specifically for trades workers and skilled workers, and the majority of platforms available like LinkedIn or Indeed are focused on office-based positions, or often now work from home positions. And also there was a lack of centralized information on worker training programs, and that's anything from short-term hands-on training to courses that build up to a college diploma to apprenticeships. And so our response as Iron and Earth is that we needed a scalable digital solution that's unique to Canada and responsive to the demands from our workers. So we went out and through polls and surveys and one-on-one interviews directly with workers, we started gathering information to understand what workers need in order to successfully transition their careers. And from this data, we heard a few reoccurring questions. Number one, workers wanted to know how their existing skills could translate into today's climate solutions. So we used data from the Canadian and US government to generate brand new research that mapped out the skills that fossil fuel occupations currently use, and then we matched them to the skills needed to build climate solutions in a net zero economy. The second question was, what kind of informational resources are available to them to increase their project readiness? So on the Climate Career Portal, you'll find an informational page on each of our featured climate solutions, which are wind, solar, geothermal, EV charging, and of course, energy efficiency and energy storage. We're also continuously expanding this range of climate solutions, and you'll find information on the major projects and companies leading these energy solutions right now. The next question was, and this is an obvious one, what jobs are available right now? What can I apply for today? So we collected information on all the energy projects from all over Canada to discover where they are and which companies were developing them. And then we found job hirings directly on those company platforms, and we regularly update the jobs board with these latest postings. And then lastly, workers were curious about training opportunities. So we curated information on 40+ training programs, from remote online courses, hands-on short-term training programs, diplomas, apprenticeships, etc. And there's a really wide variety out there available to meet the different reskilling or upskilling needs that workers might have. So we're going to do a little example scenario walkthrough of how someone might use the Climate Career Portal. So an example is, this is Jacob. Jacob is an industrial electrician. He's 36 and about mid-career, lives in Ontario with his family, doesn't really want to relocate. He's worked in oil and gas his whole life, but has heard about working in renewables, and he's not sure where to start, but he's curious. So this is the Climate Career Portal homepage, and you can see there's a search bar right away. So Jacob comes onto the portal, he searches for his current occupation, so he types industrial electrician, which you can see on the search bar. Okay, so you enter industrial electrician, and great news, your skills are needed in 4 climate solutions. If you were to scroll down, you would see solar, which is one of the 4 shown, and that's what Jacob is most interested in right away, so he clicks on solar and the drop-down arrow. The drop-down arrow shows him exactly which skills of his current occupation transfer directly to solar, the labor projections for the industry, and a button that leads you to projects, jobs, and training. So first, Jacob clicks on the projects button to see what's happening within Canada. Here, this takes you directly to the projects page. And the nice thing is that it's pre-filtered specifically for solar. And at any time, if Jacob wanted to see something else, he can change this filter and add other climate solutions as well. So say he clicks to add wind as an additional climate solution. He can also go back to the search bar and click on jobs to see solutions or jobs available for all the selected climate solutions, and you can also filter for location. So if Jacob sees something he might be interested in, you can see there's a little bookmark icon on the right-hand side of the page, and you can click that to save your jobs. So clicking on the bookmark icon will take you to a login page. If you create an account on the Climate Career Portal, you can save any interesting projects, jobs, trainings, and see them as a list later in your account on your dashboard. So here we can see all of the jobs that Jacob has saved in both wind and solar, and Jacob can go back at any point in time to apply to them before company deadlines. He can also share the link easily and show any friends or colleagues who are also transitioning to climate. And on the right-hand side of the page, you can see a summary of the position. You can also save trainings and projects. So here, for example, Jacob has saved a few training programs that he was able to find offerings that are focused on practical, hands-on solar installations to get some relevant experience. This is a really quick walkthrough of the Climate Career Portal. There's plenty more to explore, and you can walk through it yourself. It's available at www.climatecareerportal.com, and I'll link the website at the end of this presentation. So what's next? We have really big dreams for the Climate Career Portal, and it's going to be an ever-evolving tool based on user feedback. So while we've tackled some of the major questions posed by workers, there are many more that we want to include to further expand and optimize the Climate Career Portal. So here are some of the remaining questions we've heard from workers and how we want to continue solving them. First off, we started with 6 climate solutions based on the current fastest growing industries and the ones based in energy. However, we want to add more climate solutions such as hydro or biofuels, etc., which means more transition pathways for workers, more jobs, more projects, more companies. Secondly, workers can see how their skills are needed in climate solutions, but we want to go a step further, and we want to show how they can transition to specific careers by having customized career blueprints that are tailored to each person. Number three, we want to add visualizations to much of the existing information, which includes a map function for projects, jobs, and training, so you can visualize all our data a little more easily. Number four, we've heard that the financials of upskilling and training can be a barrier for some workers, so we want to curate a financial aid and grants inventory in response to resources for upskilling. Number five, we want to expand resources for Indigenous workers and Indigenous-led projects. And we know from our initial design survey that the career transition decisions for Indigenous folks can look really different. They face different barriers, and at the same time, they might have access to different supports. So we really want to customize for that. And number six, we know that the transition pathway can feel really solitary, and connecting with people makes a really big difference. So we're looking to develop a mentorship program, and we also want to work on building a community for people transitioning into climate. Transitions are a journey, and the Climate Career Portal is really about offering transition journeys, but the process of transitioning your career, let alone an entire energy economy, is no small feat. And there's no better way than to do it together. So we're inviting everyone to work with all of us. We really want your feedback and your collaboration. So if you're a worker, we really want to talk with you to understand better what you need and how we can get that on the website. If you're open to a one-on-one interview, we would really love to hear from you. If you have any feedback that you want to send us, you can do it through the feedback link on the Climate Career Portal, or you can also send it to the email address I have shown on the bottom right, ccp@ironandearth.org. If you're an industry partner or you're offering training programs, we want to showcase your work and your offerings on the Climate Career Portal so that workers can directly see what you have to offer. And this is an iterative journey. It's one that's growing. So our hope is that the Climate Career Portal can serve as a central gathering space for a variety of communities, organizations, and climate solutions to be that one-stop shop for people's net zero career transitions. That is the end of my slideshow. So I'll open it up to questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jodie. I know we're really glad to have been able to partner with you on this great project. I know anyone who's looking for energy efficiency careers, they'll also get linked to the Discovery Hub. And I'm really glad that our two projects can kind of complement one another in that way. And I love the way that it's laid out. It seems so easy to, you're coming into this with so many questions, and then it just really naturally kind of guides you through a path that takes you to all those opportunities. I think it's a really cool project. So I would encourage everyone in our audience to put your questions into the Q&A if there's anything you want to know more about. Maybe you're even someone who's looking to make a career transition, you want to know how this can help you, or you're a partner who wants to get involved in this. Questions are super welcome. So our first one here is, for the job postings, do employers need to post specifically into this tool, or do you source them from common platforms such as Indeed?
We do both. So we do source positions from the broader internet and directly from company websites. And also, if you don't see your job there and you want it posted, you can go onto the Climate Career Portal, and there is a link to add a position or add a company if you'd like to feature your company as well.
Perfect. And so if I want to add a posting from Indeed, can I just share the link from that posting?
You could email us the link to the CCP address and ask us to add it, and anything that gets entered either through the website, which is linked to a Google form, or sent to us by email, is reviewed by our moderators before it's posted to the site, just to make sure that everything that goes onto the website is high quality and real.
Perfect. Awesome. And you have some international interest here. So there's someone who's based in Brazil. They're wondering if this portal could be implemented in Brazil, or if there's opportunities or interest in teaming up with local NGOs to partner on a similar project.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is a Canadian tool. It's focused on Canada, but we're really excited to hear that there's international interest. So, I mean, the Climate Career Portal is focused on Canada for now, but perhaps we could work with them to set up something similar, or if they're interested in coming to Canada for work, I think there's possible collaborations there.
Perfect. Awesome. And so I think similar to the job question, so if someone has an energy management training that they've developed, how can they get that training course into the Climate Career Portal?
Yeah, this is similar. So you can either add it directly on the website, or if that's too much work, you can just email it directly to ccp@ironearth.org and we can help add it for you. And if you have any questions or feedback, like please feel free to reach out. I'm the one that monitors the inbox, so I'll get back to you personally.
Perfect. And just a lot of folks saying it's an awesome resource, a great tool. People I think are really, really excited about this. So there's a question here that I don't know if I don't understand it. So I'm hoping I'll say it and maybe you'll understand what they're talking about. So are you considering using an AR type component as a task intro?
I personally don't understand this question. I am not a software developer, however. We have a team of developers, so maybe this is just outside my scope.
Yeah, sounds good. Kevin, if you want to ask any follow-ups, maybe you can raise your hand and talk through that question and try to help us understand it a bit more, but we'll say it's a question mark for now. Oh, great. So I do see a hand up here. Okay, so Kevin, I'm going to allow you to talk. So you should be able to unmute yourself and then you can talk through that.
Thank you very much. And this is just terrific to see. My question deals with augmented reality and virtual reality, extended reality, those kinds of tools where obviously a person can perhaps get introduced to a task without having to, if you will, suit up and make a mess. In the US, there's a welding, I'm going to garble this, but there's a welding association that has developed a virtual welding introduction where I saw it at our Minnesota State Fair where there was the whole family welding in these simulators. But I guess it's just the tip of the iceberg aspect. And my question deals with perhaps how do we further interest people who have a passing interest in a particular trade or task group? Thank you.
Yeah, interesting question. I haven't encountered personally too much AR or VR programs for this, but it's exciting to hear that they're being developed. I think there's definitely potential for that. The first one that I see is training programs could possibly implement that as a way of teaching people or introducing people to new solutions, in which case, hopefully the way that would trickle through to the Climate Career Portal would be through a training program that incorporates that. We don't currently have any plans to implement that ourselves, but I think as technology grows, we're not closing doors on anything. So, if it develops further, we'll take a look. That's a cool concept, though. I hadn't heard of that. So thank you for sharing.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. And a question here. So is there any particular program to connect with specific communities in Canada rather than individuals? So the person asking this question is a group of people with oil and gas backgrounds who are interested in changing their direction through sustainability projects.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, this is an organization reaching out or it's a person reaching? Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, I'll just repeat the question specifically. So is there any particular program to connect with specific communities in Canada rather than individuals?
Okay. Currently, our platform focuses on connecting individuals with companies. However, we work with lots of organizations, and one thing we're working on is a blog that will highlight some of the organizations that we work with, but also we want to start building a community. So for example, we're looking at building a Facebook group of all of the people that want to use the Climate Career Portal and connecting them. And I think that will allow people to bring forward organizations that they're working with or a member of and give a bit more visibility to that group. And also if you want to reach out to us and tell us what organization you're looking for or want to join, maybe we can direct you to some of our connections. But I think organizations and communities are really important when you're trying to make transitions like this because support really matters.
Awesome. And I do see a comment too from Andrea at Iron and Earth. So it sounds like Iron and Earth is working with communities in a lot of the other initiatives as well. And you can reach out to Anna at ironearth.org to connect. So really good opportunities there. And we have another person who has their hand up. So Oscar, I'm going to allow you to talk. So you should be able to unmute yourself now, and then you can ask your question out loud. Oh, we've maybe lost Oscar. If you're feeling like you still have a question, but the unmute tool isn't working for you, then you can definitely put it into the chat or the Q&A and I can get to that. Or if you do want to ask your question out loud, you can raise your hand or just unmute and pop into the conversation that way. So a question here from David. Is there any second career funding to expand the unemployment insurance in order to help people make career transitions?
So one of the things that I mentioned we're looking at building out is the funding and grant application page. So that wouldn't be grants that or scholarships that Iron and Earth is offering, but it would be kind of like the job page, a database of available funding for things such as training and upskilling and programs. So that is something that we recognize is a barrier for most workers. Schooling is expensive, you take time off your salary. We really get that that can be a struggle for some people. So we want to centralize information on those resources that are available. We're not directly working with unemployment insurance at this point in time, but more so just offerings that are available for funding.
Awesome. Yeah, that definitely should help make it a little bit less daunting to make some of those career changes. Awesome. And so David, I see you've got your hand up here, so I will allow you to talk and you should be able to unmute there.
Okay, do you hear me? The reason I asked is earlier on in the previous effort, there was called Energy Pathways. And I was able to hire unemployed people who were in the, unemployed and engineers from other, and I had 26 weeks of their work while they got unemployment, but prove that they were training and learning a new skill. I just pitched our member of parliament last night on a call as to where is that in the budget. So I think we should look for those funds, and that really will help, pay for the training courses that we're going to list on your site.
Okay, that's a really good flag. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that program before, but I'll definitely check it out. And that is a policy decision, but if that's something that we can, lobby for or speak
It may
up
be
for,
also
that
at the
sounds
provincial
helpful.
level. Like I know in Ontario, there's tons of new skill training, but it's for trades. But there's energy management, there are engineers that are in one field that might want to move into this field. So I think we could talk about that. Thanks.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, David.
Awesome. So that's all the questions that we have in the Q&A right now, but I'm sure you're going to get a lot more follow-up emails and a lot of folks checking out the portal, which is great. Jodie, if you're able to flip to the next slide with the instructions for the campfire, I will invite folks, if you want to have any more of those further conversations about, getting to know Jodie, talking about Iron and Earth, the work that's happening there, just getting introduced, maybe talking a bit more in depth about how to get courses and careers online, this is a great way to do it. So I'm going to just drop the link into the chat here with the Discovery Hub, and you will be able to pop over there and follow the instructions on the screen to join us in the campfire in just another minute or two, because we do have one more question here. So the link is in the chat if anyone wants to join us for a few more minutes of conversation. But we have a question here from Nathan. So I think Nathan's wondering, where can I find that funding link on the website? But I think it's coming soon, right, Jodie, or in the future?
Coming soon, it's not available yet, but if you go onto the Climate Career Portal and sign up and make a user profile, you can sign up for our newsletters, and any new features we'll have rolled out. We'll send you an alert email so you know what's coming and what's new, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and as we roll out new features, we'll highlight those online.
Awesome. And I think there's a sign that folks are definitely interested in that. So that's great. Thanks, Nathan. Awesome. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for a really great presentation. I think so much positive feedback. People are really excited about this tool. I think it's, going to be really useful for folks who are looking to make that jump and not sure where to start. So really happy to have learned more about that. And anyone who wants to join us, I'll see you on the hub in just a few minutes. So thank you, Jodie, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks everyone so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.